And today, we're actually going to build a strategy framework, pretty much from the ground up.
And our goal, our mission, really, is to get practical. Go beyond just the theory.
Right.
We're drawing on some great structured thinking, people like Jane Cormie, to show that strategy. It's kind of a battle, between logic and creativity. You absolutely need that rigorous analysis, the left brain stuff, but then you need that right brain insight to actually turn all that data into a direction.
Okay, so what I think we really need to nail down today is the language.
Yes.
And the connections.
Yeah.
Because if you mix up your mission and your vision, you're just going to confuse the whole team.
Absolutely. Confusion is the enemy of strategy.
So we'll clarify those terms. We'll look at the tools you need for deep insight, the analysis part.
The groundwork.
And then we get to the really surprising bit, which I found fascinating in the sources.
Yeah.
How metaphor is like the secret weapon for strategic clarity.
It really can be. It taps into how we naturally think.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. The word itself, strategy, comes from the Greek stretskos, meaning army leading.
That's right. And that core idea, that sense of deliberate, large-scale movement, it's still essential.
Why is that?
Because good strategy, fundamentally, is about making unique choices. Loftley and Martin put it really well. They said strategy is an integrated set of choices that uniquely positions the firm to create sustainable advantage.
Integrated choices.
Yeah,
uniquely positions.
Well, it's not just, doing things well. It's choosing which unique things you're going to do.
Right.
Purposefully.
Got it. But before you choose, you need that ultimate destination, right? The North Star.
Exactly. But why?
And this is where that language trap often gets people, even big companies, apparently. The vision versus the mission.
It happens all the time. So the vision, academically speaking, is the aspirational prediction of the future. It's the why. Where do you want the company to be?
Okay, the why. The future state.
And the mission. That's more about the purpose. It defines the business you're in,
Yeah.
your major goals, and importantly, the approach you'll take to get towards that vision. It's the what and the how.
Right, what's and how. Okay, Microsoft, way back in 1980, they gave us a classic vision example, didn't they?
They did. A computer on every desk and in every home.
Wow. I mean, think about 1980. That sounds huge, almost crazy futuristic.
It perfectly shows that aspirational thinking. Imagine how many people must have scoffed at that back then.
Yeah.
But, fast forward to 2016 or so, and roughly 90% of households had a computer. That vision was so clear, so compelling. It clearly guided decades of strategic decisions.
And you see that same kind of power, that cascading effect with Disney, too? Their top-level corporate vision is super simple. To make people happy. Just 3 words.
Simple but powerful.
So if you're running, say, Disney Parks and Resorts, your job is to figure out, okay, how do we make people happy?
Right. How does your part contribute?
So their specific unit vision becomes something like, we create happiness by providing the best in entertainment. It just flows down, keeps everyone pointing the same way.
It ensures alignment from the top to the front line.
Okay, but I have to push back a bit here based on the sources. They point out that massive, really successful companies still seem to use these terms, well, interchangeably.
That's true.
Like Netflix. Their stated mission is to entertain the world. That sounds exactly like what you just called a vision.
It does fit the academic definition of a vision, yes.
And then their stated vision is something about being a leading firm. So if these huge companies don't stick to the academic rulebook, why should, our listener bother getting hung up on the precise definitions? Isn't just being consistent the main thing?
That's a really, really good question. And honestly, consistency is the most critical part in practice. If everyone on your team understands what you mean when you say vision and what you mean when you say mission, then you're probably fine. Call it whatever works for you.
Right.
But the reason the academic definitions are useful, why we teach them, is because they help structure the action chain. If you lose that clarity between the ultimate why and the what and how, your whole strategic chain can break down.
Oh, how come?
You risk confusing tactics, the specific actions, with the actual strategy, the overall intent.
Got it. That strategic chain, that's what connects the sort of daily grind to the big picture, the grand plan.
Precisely.
And this chain starts with objectives, right? Which need to be quantified goals, like Disney aiming for 0 net greenhouse gas emissions by a certain date.
Measurable. Quantified. Those objectives then lead to the strategy. That's the statement of intent, what you plan to do, usually uses active verbs. So for the emissions example, the strategy might be reduce net greenhouse gas emissions.
The what's, okay. And then comes the tactics.
Then the tactics, which are the specific practical actions, how you'll achieve the strategy.
So a tactic would be like implement new energy efficiency measures in the theme parks or source renewable fuels for the cruise ships.
Exactly. That hierarchy, vision, mission, maybe objective strategy, tactics, it ensures every small action, every tactic is deliberately chosen because it contributes to the bigger goal.
It gives meaning to the day-to-day work.
It connects the how to the why.
Okay, makes sense. So now we move to what the sources call the official first step in the process, strategic insight. Basically, where are we now? Establishing that baseline.
And the guiding philosophy here, you can't do much better than Sun Tzu. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the results of 100 battles.
Classic. So knowing yourself, that's the internal look.
That's the internal analysis. And knowing the enemy, or maybe the environment, that's the external analysis.
Okay, so for the internal look, the sources point us to the McKinsey 7S framework.
A well-known model.
We could list all 7: strategy, structure, systems, shared values, skills, style, staff. But let's maybe jump to the key insight the sources pull from this.
Yeah, the really crucial distinction Peters and Waterman made is between the hard S and the soft S.
Hard and soft.
The hard elements, strategy, structure, systems, those are the tangible things. Charts, processes, reporting lines, relatively easy to define and theoretically easy to change on paper.
Okay.
But the soft S elements, shared values, skills, style, staff, that's often where strategy implementation falls down because that's about people, culture, capabilities.
Right. You can announce a new org structure tomorrow.
Exactly. You can mandate a new structure, but you can't just mandate a new culture or instantly give everyone new skills. That takes time, effort, buy-in.
And the sources really highlight shared values as like the core, the organization's DNA.
Absolutely. They set the framework for behavior. Think of Coca-Cola's value of accountability. If it is to be, it's up to me. Or Disney's focus on innovation, quality, storytelling.
If those values aren't real, aren't lived, then no fancy new strategy or system is going to stick, is it?
Not effectively, no.
Yeah.
The culture will likely reject it.
Okay, so once we've done that internal scan with the 7S, looked in the mirror, we need to look out the window.
Right. Face the world outside. And for that external deep dive, the standard tool recommended is Pistelli analysis.
Pistelli. Okay, let's break that down. It's an acronym.
It is. Stands for political, economic, social, technology, environmental, legal, and the final E, ethical.
Ah, ethical. The sources mention that's a relatively newer addition to the older PEST or PESTLE models.
And it is, but it's vital now. Thinking about factors like corporate social responsibility, fair trade, ethical sourcing. Stakeholder expectations around these things are huge.
Yeah, you can't ignore them.
You really can't. The business world is just so interconnected now. Issues around ethics and sustainability can genuinely change your whole competitive landscape almost overnight.
So the idea is if Pastel gives you the map of the kind of external world.
Yeah, the weather patterns, the terrain.
And the 7S gives you the detailed blueprint of your own ship.
Your vessel's condition, its crew, its capabilities.
Then you should be prepared for pretty much anything the world throws at you.
That's the goal. Informed preparation.
And then, once you've gathered all that data, internal from 7S, external from Pesto, you bring it all together.
Yeah.
Synthesize it.
Right. And that's where the classic SWOT analysis comes in. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats.
Okay. So the strengths and weaknesses come from the internal 7S analysis.
Correct. What are we good at? Where are gaps? That's internal.
And the opportunities and threats come from the external Pastel scan.
Exactly. What trends could help us? What external factors pose a risk?
So SWOT is basically the executive summary of your current strategic position. It lays out the facts.
It gives you that snapshot. Here's where we stand based on everything we've learned.
Okay, makes sense. But here's where I feel like we sometimes hit a wall, right? We've done the analysis. We have the SWOT. We're deep in the left brain, the logic, the data.
Spreadsheets and bullet points.
Yeah. And if we just stick there, the strategies that come out are often, well, incremental, safe, small adjustments.
Anchoring around the edges.
Exactly. So how do we make the leap from all that solid data analysis to like true innovation, a really compelling future vision?
This is the pivot point. And you're right. Strategy often gets stuck here because it overfocuses on logic. It can lead to analysis paralysis or just doing more of the same, only slightly better.
So what's the fix?
To really define that future vision, step 2 in the process, we need the whole brain, logic and creativity, analysis and intuition,
The whole brain.
and the tool, the technique that engages the whole brain most effectively. According to the research, it's metaphor.
Metaphor. Okay, define that simply for us.
It's just a figure of speech, right? Where you describe one thing, an object, an action as if it were something else, something non-literal, to help explain it or make a point. A is B.
Not like a simile, which is A is like B. Metaphor is A is B.
Correct. And Aristotle called mastering metaphor a sign of genius. We use them constantly without even thinking about it.
Yeah. How often?
The research suggests maybe 6 metaphors every minute in normal conversation.
Wow, 6 a minute.
Yeah. They seem to be fundamental to how our brains grasp complex ideas, how we communicate meaning quickly. Think about common business phrases.
Yeah.
Think outside the box, low-hanging fruit, cash cow, silo mentality, agile sprint.
Right. They're all metaphors. And they instantly paint a picture, convey a complex idea way faster than a long explanation.
Exactly. They create shortcuts to understanding.
The examples from Ed Catmull's book, Creativity Inc., about Pixar were great on this.
Oh, yeah. Brilliant examples.
He talked about referring to early, undeveloped film ideas as ugly babies. And that image, it instantly tells you these ideas are maybe awkward, vulnerable, definitely incomplete. They need nurturing and protecting, not harsh judgment.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It sets the whole mindset for how to treat new ideas. Way better than a memo saying, be constructive in early stage feedback.
Totally. Or his other one for management complexity.
Balancing on the backs of a herd of horses.
Yeah. That image just perfectly captures the dynamic, maybe chaotic energy needed to manage a bunch of highly creative, independent people. It says so much more than just, management requires adaptability.
It connects emotionally and intellectually. That's the power.
So when we're using this for strategy, for crafting that future vision, the sources suggest 2 types of metaphors.
That's right. There are related metaphors and unrelated metaphors.
Well, they're related.
Related metaphors draw analogies from within your own industry or a closely related field. They tend to yield more practical, maybe incremental ideas. Useful, but maybe not groundbreaking.
And unrelated.
That's where you draw an analogy between your situation and something completely unconnected. That's where the real creative leaps often happen.
Because it forces your brain out of its usual tracks.
Exactly. It challenges the right brain. So instead of thinking about logistics companies, you might use an unrelated theme like, say, transport.
Okay.
You could say, right now our company is like a slow, reliable barge. Our vision is to become a sleek, fast Formula One racing team.
Ah, okay. That's a stark contrast. Or you mentioned nature themes.
Yeah, nature's a rich one. Maybe you're moving from like a messy, tangled sprawl of weeds,
Yeah.
that's your current state, to a future state that's like a highly organized, efficient, resilient beehive structure.
I see. So these big, unrelated analogies, they really spark creative thinking.
They do. And crucially, they help you define and communicate the vision story.
The vision story.
Yeah, you could literally sketch the current state, the barge, the weeds, and the desired future state, the F1 car, the beehive. And suddenly, the strategic why becomes incredibly clear, visually, emotionally, for everyone.
It makes it tangible and easy to grasp.
Exactly. It engages the whole brain, not just the analytical part.
Okay, so that vision story, built potentially around a powerful metaphor, that's the bridge into step 2 of the process, defining the strategic vision itself. Where do we want to be?
Correct. The vision's job is to shape that desired future state we just talked about.
And it needs to pass the test, right? The AM model.
Yes. A good vision must be aspirational. It needs to feel ambitious, exciting. Inspirational, it should motivate people. And memorable, easy to recall and repeat.
That memorability part, that's where visions often fall down, isn't it? They become these long, jargon-filled sentences nobody can actually remember.
Absolutely. Bloated vision statements are useless. So there's a practical tool, a rule of thumb from the sources.
Go on.
Use a maximum of 7 keywords.
7 keywords max, excluding little words like a, the, and.
Exactly. Excluding the connective tissue, just 7 core, meaningful words. It forces ruthless clarity and conciseness.
Okay, I like that. 7 keywords. And there's a simple formula, too.
A basic structure. Verb plus target plus outcome. Vision.
Verb, target, outcome. Let's reuse Disney.
Okay. Make, verb, plus people, target, plus happy, outcome.
Make people happy. 3 keywords. Fits the rule. Perfectly memorable, aspirational, inspirational. Checks all the aim boxes.
It does. Simple, clear, powerful.
Okay, so once we have that clear, memorable vision locked in, guided perhaps by our metaphor, we move to the final step. Step 3, strategic ideas. How will we actually get there?
Precisely. And this is where we finalize the specific strategies and tactics, and crucially, where we need to be really careful not to confuse the two. We talked about this earlier, but it's worth hammering home.
Right. Strategy is the what, the statement of intent. Uses those active verbs like empower, improve, reduce, grow.
It describes what you intend to achieve.
Ah.
And tactics are the how, the concrete, practical actions you will take to execute that strategy.
And the best way to check if you've got the hierarchy right, if a tactic really supports a strategy.
That's why. Keep asking why.
The why loop. Okay, talk me through that again.
Okay, let's use a personal example. Tactic.
Sure.
Go to the gym 5 times a week.
Okay, that's a how. An action.
Right. Why am I doing that?
Yeah.
Strategy. To lose weight. That's what I'm trying to achieve.
Got it. Tactic supports strategy.
But we can go further. Why do I want to lose weight? Umbrella strategy or objective? To improve my general health.
Oh, okay. Which probably links back to some personal vision about living a long, active life or something.
Exactly. That why question constantly connects the actions back up the chain, ensuring alignment.
The case study example in the sources, the community cinema, illustrated this well too.
Right.
Their strategy was something like raise awareness for the cinema in the local community and beyond. That's the what.
Clear station of intent.
And the tactics, the how, were things like run a local poster campaign or post regularly on social media.
Simple, practical actions. And you can see the link. Why run a poster campaign? To raise awareness. It connects.
So if you have a proposed tactic and you ask, why are we doing this? And the answer doesn't clearly link back to one of your stated strategies.
Then it's probably wasted effort. It's just noise, not purposeful action. It means you're not aligned.
That ensures all the activity, all the motion, is actually directed towards achieving the vision, towards the win, not just, as Sun Tzu might say, the noise before defeat.
Beautifully put. Tactics without strategy is just noise.
So for you, the learner, listening right now, you now have the tools. You've got the analytical framework to understand your current reality, the 7S for your internal blueprint, Pestelli for the external map.
Where are we now?
And you've got the creative tools metaphor, the AIM model, the 7-keyword rule, to define a really clear, memorable, and motivating future vision.
The where do we want to be part.
And that connection between the two, the analysis and the creative vision, that's what's so important, right?
It's absolutely vital, because without that creative leap, the analysis often just stays on the spreadsheet. It doesn't inspire action. The whole point of the rigorous analysis, the 7S, the Pestelli, the SWOT, is ultimately to inform and strengthen the creation of that powerful metaphor, that compelling vision story.
A story that can actually motivate the whole organization.
Exactly.
To get everyone excited about the how because they believe in the why.
Okay, so here's your final thought, your next step to mull over. Think about a project or maybe even your own career path where things feel a bit stuck or hard to articulate. What is the current state? Now, try applying an unrelated metaphor. Is it currently like a tangled ball of yarn? A complicated machine that keeps breaking down? A dense jungle you need to clear?
And what's your ugly baby idea in that context? The fragile seed of a better future that needs nurturing? Then try sketching it out, even roughly.
Yeah, draw the journey. Current state, the jungle. Desired future state, maybe it's a gleaming high-speed monorail running through that cleared space.
See how quickly that kind of visual story clarifies the why behind your strategy and hints at the how, maybe much better than another long meeting or document ever could.
Give it a try. Until the next deep dive, keep thinking strategically.